Hello everyone, my name is Sadia Education Wali. I'm student at Rehan College Korangi Campus and currently I'm enrolled in Teacher Training Bootcamp 1. Today we will talk with Maya and our topic is the importance of self-care and building healthy habits. So let's start.
Whoa, that was quick. Welcome back.
Okay, so Maya, my first question is what does self-care really mean and why is it important for everyone?
I think people often mistake self care for just the treat yourself stuff, like bubble baths and fancy candles, but it's actually way deeper than that. To me, it's more about the boring, necessary stuff, setting a boundary with the draining friends, actually getting 8 hours of sleep, or knowing when to just say no to something because your brain is fried. It's important because you can't pour from an empty cup, right? If you're running on fumes, you're not actually showing up for anyone, including yourself.
Okay,
What does
Maya,
it look
how
like?
do healthy habits contribute to long-term physical and mental well-being, and what are some simple self-care practice that anyone can start today?
Healthy habits are basically just small wins that compound over time. Physically, it's the obvious stuff. Your body just works better when it's fueled and moving. But mentally, it's more about stability. When you have a routine, you're giving your brain a predictable baseline, which makes the chaotic days feel way less overwhelming. As for starting today, I'm a big fan of the 5 minute rule. Instead of trying to overhaul your whole life, just do 5 minutes of something good. 5 minutes of
So,
stretching, 5 minutes of tidying your space, or even just 5 minutes of sitting in silence without a screen. It's much harder to talk yourself out of 5 minutes than an hour. Which one of those feels the least intimidating?
okay, so Maya, what do so many people struggle to maintain healthy habits, and how can people build habits that actually last?
I think we struggle because we try to go from 0 to 100 overnight. We treat habits like a switch we can just flip, but it's more like building a muscle. When people set goals that are too ambitious, like I'm going to the gym every single day when they haven't gone in a year, they crash the moment life gets messy. Then they feel like they failed and they give up entirely. The trick to making them last is habit stacking. You basically hitch your new habit onto something you already do without thinking. Like if you want to start meditating, do it right after you pour your first cup of coffee. You're just adding a new link to a chain that's already strong. Do you have any routines you already do on autopilot?
Okay, Maya, what is the connection between self-care and productivity, and how important are sleep, nutrition, and exercise in maintaining a healthy lifestyle?
It's kind of a paradox, but the more you prioritize self care, the more productive you actually become. People tend to view self care as time away from work, but it's really the fuel that makes the work possible. If you're burnt out, you might be sitting at your desk for 10 hours, but you're probably only doing 2 hours of actual quality work because your brain is just fogged over. As for sleep, nutrition, and exercise, those are the non negotiables. Sleep is when your brain literally cleans itself and processes the day. Without it, you're basically trying to run a marathon in quicksand. Nutrition is your fuel, and exercise is what keeps the engine from rusting. When those three are out of whack, everything else feels 10 times harder than it needs to be. Do you find that one of those is harder to keep up with than the others?
Okay, Maya. Also, how can busy professionals and students make time for self-care, and what role does mindfulness and meditation play in reducing stress and improving well-being? How can journaling help people improve their mental health and self-awareness?
For the busy ones, the key is stop looking for a block of time and start looking for the gaps. If you're a student or working a corporate gig, you might never have a free hour, but you have 3 minutes while the microwave runs or 10 minutes on a commute. That's where the magic happens. Mindfulness and meditation are basically just training your brain to stop living in the what if of the future or the why did I do that of the past. It's about coming back to the present so you don't feel like you're drowning in your own thoughts. And journaling, that's like a brain dump. Takes all that chaotic noise in your head and puts it on paper where you can actually look at it. It's a lot harder for a worry to haunt you when you've written it down and can see it's actually just a sentence on a page. Are you more of a write it all out person, or does that feel like a chore?
Okay, Maya, thank you for your answer. So, how can people break unhealthy habits and replace them with positive ones?
Breaking a habit is a lot like trying to steer a ship. You can't just stop it instantly. You have to gradually shift the direction. The biggest mistake people make is trying to use sheer willpower to stop something. Willpower is a finite resource. It runs out by 4 p.m. on a Tuesday. Instead of focusing on the void you're creating by quitting, you have to focus on what's filling that space. If you're scrolling on your phone because you're bored or stressed, just stopping the scrolling leaves you bored and stressed. You have to replace the action with something that hits that same need, but in a healthier way. It's about identifying the trigger and then rewriting the script for what happens next. Do you have a specific habit in mind that you've been wanting to swap out?
Okay, so what are the some common myths about self care that people should avoid?
The biggest one is definitely that self care is selfish. There's this idea that if you're taking time for yourself, you're neglecting others, but it's actually the opposite. You're just making sure you have enough in the tank to actually be helpful and present for the people you love. Then there's the myth that it has to be expensive, like you need a spa day or a fancy retreat to reset. In reality, a 20-minute walk or just turning off your notifications for an hour is often way more effective. Do any of those sound like things you've heard before?
Okay, so which books, podcast, and resources would you recommended for developing healthy habits and practicing self care?
For habits, you absolutely have to read Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's basically the gold standard for understanding how small changes actually stick. If you're into podcasts, I'd recommend The Happiness Lab with Dr. Lori Santos. She takes the science of well being and makes it feel practical rather than clinical. For something a bit more introspective, I've always loved the Writing in Tiny Beautiful Things by Cheryl Strayed. It's more about radical empathy and self compassion than a how to guide, but it hits deep. Are you looking for something more science based, or are you in the mood for something more soulful?
Okay, so then how can families, schools, and workplace encourage a culture of self care and well being?
It usually starts with the people at the top actually doing it themselves. If a boss sends emails at 2 a.m. or a parent is constantly running on fumes, that becomes the unspoken standard for everyone else, regardless of what the official wellness policy says. In workplaces and schools, it's about moving away from praising the grind and instead respecting boundaries, like actually meaning it when you say a weekend is for resting. For families, it's about normalizing the conversation. So a kid knows it's okay to say, I'm overwhelmed and I need a break without feeling like they're failing. It's really about shifting the culture from how much can you endure to how well are you actually doing?
Okay,
Do you think
so
the
what is your final message for everyone who wants to build healthy habits, take better care of themselves, and live a happier, more balanced life?
my biggest piece of advice is to be gentle with yourself? We're so quick to treat ourselves like projects that need to be fixed or optimized, but you're a human, not a software update. There will be days when you hit every goal and days when you do absolutely nothing but survive, and both of those are okay. Just remember that the goal isn't perfection, it's just being a little bit kinder to yourself today than you were yesterday. Keep it simple, Start small. And don't forget to actually enjoy your life while you're busy improving it.
Thank you so much, Maya, for sharing with me your valuable insights, and thank you for your time. I love this.
You are so welcome. I'm really glad it resonated with you. Anytime you want to brainstorm more or just need a bit of a reset, I'm here.
Okay, so thank you so much, all of you, for listening me and for watching me. I love this.